A completely different position than we thought we would be at the start of the season. A completely different position than we thought we would be probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago. It's incredible what's happened.
Porque la prende la puma, la pasa la para elevarnos un rato. Nos vamos de antro, muy destapando, siempre enfiestado, pacastronando y en arrancones me ven zumbando, muy destapando, siempre enfiestado, pacastronando y en arrancones me ven zumbando.
So 2 big things have happened. We've maintained the form, as you saw on the league table, and nobody came in for Esposito. Win. Although now Fiorentina are sniffing round, but they're not a Champions League team. Despite what the pre-season favourites say, they're actually beneath us. So Espo, stay with us. We've only had a couple of defeats to Juventus and Inter. It's the old same thing. Bigger teams are just getting the better of us. But we did have a good result against Parma, which I want to highlight. And the main reasons I want to highlight this is because this man, Elton Soulage, bagged his first hat-trick of his career, and he has been fantastic recently. And Marco Moretti, his best performance since he came back. In fact, you've got to go some to get a 10 out of 10 rating and get a better average rating score for the match than someone who scored a hat-trick. Some have questioned my thinking of having 2 deep line forwards on support, but this is what it gives you. It gives you absolute overloads out wide. So here we've got our right back, our right-sided midfielder, and the closest striker to them dropping off. If he wasn't dropping off, he'd be going for that sort of position there. But because he's overloaded in that area as well, they all combine. The opposition defence are all over the place. This all led to one of the goals going in. Again, you need a really good attacking fullback for this to work. You saw Soulage scoring there, so despite coming from defensive midfield, he still gets into the box, and there's a couple of reasons for this. The first is on the player instructions, I've got him getting further forward, so he's naturally going to get a bit further forward. The second is he's got some key player traits which makes him perfect for this, notably gets into opposition area. That means despite starting in a defensive midfield spot, his natural inclination is to get into the box. Also something to think about if you want him not to do that, because he's not the man for that role. Which is why next to him, Menza or Yaya, when he's fit, simply sit. Thanks to injuries, Moretti's getting more of a start, and you can see the impact he's having. He's now got 7 assists from 13 starts. Speaking of assists, you can see my boy Maximo Parejo is joint top in the league, coming from left wing back. At the minute, it seems every attack we do somehow ends up at his feet for him to provide the assist. And it's all different types too, but this role is perfect for him, and it's a key reason why I think he's doing so well. Look at his attributes. He's a winger. Even the game suggests he's a winger, but we've got him retrained up to start as a left-sided wing-back, really attacking. Now, we have worked on his defensive game. His positioning's up into double figures now, as is his tackling and marking. But he's a new-age fullback, if you like, concentrating on going forward more than going back. Now, we've had him for years. If you look at it history-wise, he's in our 5th season with us now. So when we got him, he was only 17, 18. The perfect time to grab a winger and then retrain him to be your attacking wing-back. You can work on his defensive stuff, but in this day and age, with overlaps and players starting higher up that are rarely out-and-out wingers, it's ideal to have a winger as your fullback. You may also have noticed that we are in the Coppa Italia semi-final. Now granted, we lost the first leg to AC Milan, but we still have a chance to turn that round. And the reason we got there was this amazing victory against Fiorentina. Let me show you how we did it. Well, I know I've got a tough game and a big one, like a cup game. More and more I come to the scout report. It looks a bit daunting noticing that they've got all these strengths and only a few weaknesses, but you need to really zone in on them. And there was a few things in the weaknesses that we could really zone in on. The first was vulnerable playing against the 4-3-3. Next, 10 of the 32 assists conceded have come from the left side of the pitch, which is perfect for us. And the last one, slow second half starters. All key ones. So going into the match, I set up as normal, 4-2-4, balanced mentality, because we were on a good run. And in the first half, they completely dominated us. They scored early and we didn't really have a kick. But you can see what happened in the second half. 4 goals and we battered them. This is because in the second half, the first thing I did for those first 15 minutes was we went to attacking mentality. Not only that, I completely changed my shape and went to a 4-3-3. Wingbacks were getting high. I had an attacking central midfielder and 2 central midfielders. So it was a 4-3-3 and you can see the 2 narrow wide men. What this did was it unleashed Parejo down the left. We already knew they couldn't deal with 4-3-3s, from the scout report. Loads of men in the box, look at that, overloading them, took the lead. This was a huge second half swing, and I'm putting it largely down to that 4-3-3 setup. So for the second half, it literally went something like this. Took a striker out, he popped into central midfield and he went on to attack. So we had our standard 4-3-3. Esposito became the complete forward that I'm kind of dying to make him, to be honest. And we pushed one of the central midfielders to half back. What that naturally does means that when he drops back into there like that, the fullbacks push up even further. So we ended up attacking something like this. So in the first half, playing our 4-2-4, we were attacking like that and we got absolutely dominated. However, with the ball in the second half, the shape completely changed and it led us to completely dominate one of the better teams in Serie A. We're in the semis, which is unreal, but we got pretty well battered by AC Milan. I was actually happy with a 2-0 defeat, but that led to another injury to Carabali. He just got back and now he's got a knee injury. It's a tough ask for a second leg, but Italy's wild because the first leg takes place in February and the second leg isn't until nearly May. I mean, we've got a lot of time to think about it, including another game against AC Milan. As for the league, we're sitting 5th, 6 points off Atalanta. We're probably not going to catch the Champions League spots, but if we can get this team into Europe, what an achievement that's going to be. And what about our boy Di Marino? We've already stripped him of the captaincy, the vice-captaincy, but this is the chosen ones, and he was one of them. So he can't play until the wheels fall off. He's got a year left of his contract. He's got a minimum fee release clause of $2.5 million. We're going to try and renew that now. Injuries are starting to catch up with him. He's only started 12 matches this season, but if he's fit, he plays. I don't know if you remember all the way back in season 1, but we went through attribute levels for the leagues and what we're aiming for. Just so happens that Ruti, his attribute level for his key things, so remember he's playing striker, finishing, composure, 12 to 13. He's probably at Serie C B level at a push. As a guide, we'd want our key attributes for a striker, finishing, composure to be 15 up. So it shows what we're up against. So Esposito hits it completely. So to show you what I'm talking about, that's the comparison between the two strikers, and you can see the difference between the class levels of the two. But that, I guess, is what makes this save fun, and hopefully you're enjoying it. Nobody wants to see someone just storm through the leagues and win everything, do they? I tried to improve my youth facilities. Initially, they declined. I went to war with them, and to my surprise, they've agreed. It just goes to show, don't take no for an answer sometimes, because now we've got it. Unfortunately, we continued the trend and we lost away at AC Milan. But a good sign continues to be that we are beating teams of our level, and we're starting to beat them pretty comfortably as well. This means with 9 games to go in Season 8, we're only 3 points off the Champions League. Dare to dream, boys, dare to dream.